beautiful Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Nebraska. Your Nebraska ETV network presents the 1991 Nebraska High School Baseball Championship. In the state finals, it's the Ralston Rams and the Millard North Mustangs. This championship is made possible in part by Nebraskans for Public Television. Join over 30,000 contributing members of NPTV and support quality television in Nebraska. Hi again, everybody. I'm Bill Dolman. Coming up next on ETV, the national pastime becomes Nebraska's pastime as we will crown the 1991 state champion in baseball. And it's a pretty good matchup. The Ralston Rams are a team that many people say is on a mission to be number one, taking on a team from Millard North that is looking to stay number one as the defending champions. And I'd like to bring in my partner tonight. And when you talk high school baseball in these parts, this man is a legend. You ought to hear the stories about him. Adrian Fiala. And Adrian, you played in 3 state championship games here at Rosenblatt Stadium. This is a great place to play the game.
I'll tell you what, Bill, a lot of the kids on the sheets they gave us for biographical information indicated that their most memorable moment in sports was walking onto the field here at Rosenblatt Stadium. I remember I played in 3 of these things back in the mid-'60s, and it just gives you a thrill. It's a moment in sports that you will remember for the rest of your life, and these kids will have that feeling as they go on with their careers.
Ralston won 3 state titles from 1986 through 1988, but this is their first state tournament appearance since that last title. Now, this is a program that has a lot of expectations on it every year. This year, the players put the expectations on themselves.
That's right. It's the first time I can remember, Bill, in a long time where they really had the state finals and the state championship as their goal. They set that goal early on, and now they've arrived, and they're ready to play for it here against Millard North tonight. Millard North is the defending champion from last year, a very salty team, a good defensive team. They've really turned the corner here late in the season, and Ron Johnette, their head coach, is ready to play some baseball.
Earlier today, Adrian spoke with Ralston head coach Kurt Shockey.
Yeah, it's going to turn. Kurt, your ball club won this tournament in 86, 87, and 88. There's a lot of talk about it being your destiny to win. How do you view that and your thoughts on the game?
Well, destiny I'm not so sure of, but I'll tell you what, we're going to go out and play a good ball game tonight. I think we're real confident, Adrian. We're going to go out and hopefully do the kind of things that got us here. We've used the phrase a lot that we're kind of a inner arrogant type ball club, which means we're pretty confident. Hopefully we don't outwardly do it. We don't try to rag opposition or anybody like that. We're going to go out and play good ball. This is a team that's been kind of 3 years in the making. We started 10 sophomores 2 years ago, counting the DH, and these are the kids that are here now as seniors, and they've been preparing for this game for 3 years, so we're going to go out and have fun.
What's been the key?
Attitude. We've never been, I've never had a ball club that's more confident. We may have had better skilled players, maybe we've had a couple superstars along the line, but we've got 16 kids that really believe they can win. We've been behind in of our 15 games, something like 12 of them, and we've come back to win. And that our attitude is probably our biggest key.
Kurt Shockey, thank you, and good luck tonight.
Thanks, Adrian. Appreciate it.
Now, Millard North is the defending champion, but they come into the tournament in somewhat of a sleeper role. They were the number 4 seed, but this is a team that has put things together, pitching, defense, and hitting, to become a very good team at the right time of year. We've got a lot of things going for this game that could make it very exciting.
Well, Millard North comes in 365 is what they're hitting in the tournament right now. That's pretty lusty for where they stand. Ralston, on the other hand, 277 in the tournament. So right now you'd have to say that Millard North has that edge, obviously. So it's, again, as we mentioned earlier, defense and pitching are the key, and Millard North has the edge as far as hitting goes.
Earlier today, Adrian also spoke with Millard North head coach Ron Johnette.
Ron, you're defending state champions. Any added pressure, and also what are the keys to your ball club this year?
No, I don't look at it as added pressure. I think last year was last year, and we had a nice run last year at the end of the season. This year's a new year, a lot of new people. And I think it's just a credit to this club that we've come along and are able to compete for it again.
How about keys to your ball club?
Oh, I think our keys, I think we have pretty good balance. We had several people, hitting the 320 to 380 range. And our pitching has come along. In this tournament, we've had 2 complete games. We had 4 walks in 2 games, and our defense has played well. We haven't committed an error yet, and we've gotten some timely hitting. So I think it'll take all of those ingredients to handle Ralston tonight. They're a very complete club. They're a veteran club, and Kurt does a heck of a job, and they know how to win. So,
Ron Johnette, my old teammate, thanks, and good luck tonight.
Thank you. You emphasize the word old.
The weather has held off here in Nebraska. We've had threatening skies all day, but it looks like we're going to get this ball game in, and we are certainly excited about it. The weather conditions, it's a crisp night here in Rosenblatt Stadium. 70 degrees. The winds are blowing out of the west, southwest at 7 miles an hour. And let's take a look at the Ralston batting order. In the first inning, they'll have Ryan Peters, the center fielder, Brian Berger, the left fielder, Tim Hallett is the catcher, Brad Urban, the shortstop, Marty Merrill, Rob Miller, John Small, Casey Albano is the designated hitter, and Todd Doxson is the second baseman. Take a look at the defense for Millard North, Berger, or rather for Ralston. Well, let's take a look at the Millard North defense. This is how they'll line up. Millard North, Brian Berger, the left fielder. Peters is the center fielder. Miller is the right fielder. Urban and Doxson up the middle. Small is the third baseman. Merrill at first base. Bartles the pitcher, and Hallett is the catcher.
On the hill for Millard North this evening will be Todd Bartles. There was some question about whether or not Todd would be able to start tonight with only a couple of days rest, but Ron Johnette visited with the young man and said, yep, I'm ready to go. He's 6-0 on the year with a 2.5 ERA. He's pitched in 42 innings, giving up 43 hits. 15 of those 15 runs scored, earned runs, and 18 base on balls and 45 strikeouts. And Bill Dolman, 45 strikeouts to 18 walks is quite a ratio. As we said before, if you're 2-1, you do pretty well. But when you're talking 45 Ks with only 18 base on balls, that's quite an effort for the young man. That's Todd Bartles, three-year letterman for Millard North. He's considered to be a Division I player, 6'4", 200 pounds, and he's a junior, so they'll see him again next year. Throws about 87 to 88. Here's the first pitch.
Leading off is Aaron Christensen, the shortstop, but let's get on the right page. Bartels will face Christensen, Marco, and DeStefano here in the first. John Bowers is the home plate umpire. And the second pitch is grounded down the third base line, foul.
Aaron Christensen at the plate for the Ralston Rams to lead off here, and he's kind of the ringleader for this ball club. He likes to run the bases. Excellent hitter, as Bill just told you, 469. 13 RBIs, one of the tops on the club.
Ball two, the count goes 2-1. Nobody down here, just underway with action in the top half of the first inning. Christensen coming in, hitting .469, the team high, no homers and 13 RBI on the season. 2-1 pitch, grounded down to first base. Marty Merrill over to Bartels covering, and there's one away.
Well, Bill, that's that play we talked about earlier on this afternoon about the pitcher covering the bag, and the good job that time by Merrill just to knock the baseball down, and then Bartles over there, and he makes that even run to the first place bag and makes the put out. So it's a difficult play for the pitchers when you work on in spring training and in practice all the time.
The number 2 hitter for Ralston is Keith Marco, the catcher, hitting .303 on the season, no homers and 5 RBI. And the first pitch to Marco is over for a strike, 0-1.
Keith Marco, 5'10", 175, likes to sing. It's good to hear, like catchers that sing back there.
This is grounded to third base. John Small over, long throw to Marty Merrill, and there's 2 away, 2 up and 2 down. And Bartles is rolling right along here early, and that was a key for Millard North, is how well he would come back after 2 days rest. They're just going to see how effective can be for so long.
Well, as we mentioned earlier on, as we look at Small, nice piece of work right there by John Small, the third baseman. Fields the ball cleanly, takes a good look at it, and then guns down the runner at first base, and that was Keith Marco. But Bartles working on that 2 days rest, but he told Coach Johnette, there's the first pitch inside. He said, hey, I'm ready. Let me at it, Coach. And Bartles has been kind of the key pitcher for this ball club all year. As I said earlier, 6-0 on the year with a real good earned run average of 2.5. He's had a problem at times earlier on in the season, Bill, but he throws strikes, and that's what's key here tonight.
Joe DeStefano, the center fielder, is the number 3 hitter for Ralston. Let's go down that Ralston batting order. Following in the number 4 hole is Brian Bernth. Jeff Heatham is 5th. Matt Mosser, Scott Conley, Phil Reichel, and Matt Fry round out the Ralston batting order.
Hit him.
And hit him with the 1-0 pitch. And so Ralston with the base runner aboard.
Well, Bartles obviously not intending to do anything like that. The ball got away from him up into the inside. And so DeStefano, is that how we say that?
DeStefano.
Okay, look out. There it is, right on the old elbow. Oh, that stings.
Well, it's tough to get away when you've got a pitcher on the mound that's 6'4", 200 pounds and throws it upwards of 88 miles an hour.
When you got that seed coming at you, sometimes it starts to move to the inside, and there's no chance for you to get out of the way. But I tell you what, Bill, I grew up in this town, and that was DeStefano to me, but that potato, okay? No, I think you were right. It was DeStefano was the pronunciation we got on it.
Brian Bernth, the right fielder, is the number 4 hitter. He has a man aboard trying to get him across. There are 2 out in the inning, facing Todd Bartles of Millard North. First pitch was fouled, 0-1 the count, again 2 away.
Brian Bernth is one of those young people we referred to in the open as the most memorable moment in sports, being the moment he walked into this ballpark to play baseball.
The runner goes, and no throw is made. Hallett dropped the pitch. And so now Ralston with the runner in scoring position with 2 down. DeStefano with a stolen base. Hallett's a good throwing catcher. We talked about him during the semifinals with some of the coaches, and he is one of the better defensive catchers in this tournament.
Timmy Hallett's got a good arm back there, Bill, as you mentioned.
Grounded down to third. This is Small again. He'll have a long throw to make to Merrill. Pulled him off the bag, and the runner is safe. And the Rams with runners at first and third and 2 down.
Small that time, maybe pushing to throw a little bit, aiming the ball a little bit, and that's what happens. That last play that he made when he gunned down Marco, you see it right there, just a little bit light on the release, and the ball off to the left, and so Bernth is in there.
It looked like he was taking something off the throw so as not to make an error, and his caution cost him.
Score that, how was that scored? Was that scored a hit? Evidently was. Evidently scored a base hit. Book. So Brian Bernth on first base with a single. I think do we have a courtesy runner there or not, Bill Dolman? I think we do. Is that number 18? I'm going to have to check it out.
At the plate is Jeff Heatum, the designated hitter. Heatum hitting .263 in the season with 2 homer and 6 RBI. And that is Brian Bernth, number 10, and he fakes an attempt down to second base and goes back. The pitch over for a strike, and now Heatum in a hole 0-2. Ralston threatening here in the top half of the first inning. Bartles 0-2 pitch. Down to shortstop, Brad Urban. Long throw to make. He's not going to be in time, and a run scores.
Well, Brian Bernth was off on the pitch, and he was into second base a little bit early, and that's why the shortstop, Urban, was not able to gun him down at second base. He went for Heatum at first, but Heatum can motor down that line, and there was no chance he was going to get him, and Heatum beat it by about 2 steps, so a run scored. Second hit here in the first inning.
So a pair of infield singles for Ralston as the Rams on the board first, 1-0. Facing the ace of the Millard North pitching staff. Foul tip. Runners will not advance and have to hold. At the plate, number 6 is Matt Mosser. The Ram first baseman hitting .214 with no home runs and 8 RBI on the season. Familiar name, his brother Todd is a pitcher down at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln. 0-1 the count, 2 away, runners at first and second. Into center field, this one could drop, and it will. In front of Brian Peters, a runner from second will score. On his way to third is Jeff Heatum. And Ralston now with a 2-0 lead with 3 first-inning hits off Todd Bartles.
Well, that shows you just how important base running is, as Ron Johnette will now make his way out to the mound to talk to his ace pitcher, Todd Bartles. But Brian Bernth able to extend the inning as it was there just a few pitches ago when he was breaking on the pitch that Jeff Heatum hit. And he was able to slide into second base safely, and Heatum was safe at first base. It extended the inning and constituted or gave them the opportunity to score another run as Brian Bernth came around to score. Heatum moved down to third on the play, and Matt Mosser delivers an RBI single. Nice hitting by Matt Mosser.
Well, Ron Johnette had a decision to make before the game as to whether he was going to go with Bartles on 2 days rest or not. He chose to go with him. But early on, that decision has backfired. 3 hits in the inning, 2 runs are across. Both runs scored with 2 down.
Well, I tell you, Bill, it's like Kurt Shockey, the head coach for Ralston, said they were down 3 runs in the first inning against Omaha Northwest, came back to win that ball game in the semifinal round. Still got a long ways to go.
Strike to Scott Conley, the third baseman, and Conley can do it with the bat too, hitting .359 with 12 RBI, looking to extend that. He has a runner down at third. That is Jeff Heedham, and Matt Mosser is the runner at first. Mosser being held. The throw to the plate, a ground ball to Small at third, over to second for the force out. But the damage has been done by Ralston. 2 runs in the inning on 3 hits. And a runner left. There were no errors in the inning, but a rough outing for Todd Bartles in the first inning.
There you see Mosser breaking for second, forced at second, routine and easy play. That ends the inning.
2-0 our score. Ralston on top of Millard North. The Mustangs have yet to come to bat here in this game. We're just heading into the bottom half of the first inning. And Ralston has been a team, as we talked about in the open, a team on a mission. They knew exactly what they wanted to do all season long, and they had a specific game plan in mind coming into tonight's final, and they were not going to waver from it.
Well, Bill, as we talked about, very often you'll hear about goals that you set for championships. That's what they did. That was a public statement. We're out to win the state championship, and here they are.
Millard North's batting lineup, and this is the way it will line up. We heard it once already. Ryan Peters, the center fielder. Brian Berger, Tim Hallett, Brad Urban, Marty Merrill, Rob Miller, John Small, Casey Alvano, and Todd Doxson rounds out the starting 9 for the Millard North Mustangs. Well, let's take a look at the Ralston Ram defense. Matt Fry is in left field along with Joe DiStefano in center field. Brian Bernth is the right fielder. Up the middle in the infield, Aaron Christensen and Phil Reichel at shortstop and second. Over at third is Scott Conley. The first baseman is Matt Mosser. The catcher is Keith Marco, and the pitcher, Brian Sievertson.
The pitcher is indeed Brian Sievertson. He's 5'11", 165-pound senior. He is 2-0 on the year. He has a sterling 1.17 ERA. He's only pitched 12 innings. He's given up 8 hits, given up 2 earned runs on the year, struck out 12 people, and only walked 1 batter, and that's what attracts Kurt Shockey. He said, hey, this kid can throw strikes. He throws about an 81 to 82 mile-an-hour fastball. Has a very good changeup, but what Kurt Shockey likes the best is he throws strikes. He's always around the plate. Last year in Legion Ball, 7-2 on the year, and he's headed to Midland Lutheran College. He wants to study marketing, and then, Bill, he wants to play a little baseball. So let's offer the kid our congratulations, and hopefully he has a great career in college.
Ryan Peters will lead things off for the Mustangs in the bottom half of the first inning. He is the center fielder, coming in hitting .328 with a homer and 9 RBI on the season. And he's a guy that can make things happen for Millard North. 5'11" junior, lettered last year on the state championship team. First pitch, a ball. Again, the score 2-0. Ralston on top of Millard North. We're in the bottom of the first. 3 big hits in the first inning, and Ralston jumped out to a big lead, which has not been the pattern for their games. They've come from behind 13 of their 15 wins.
That's what makes you wonder a little bit about it, as you see a line drive in the right field.
Brian Bernth over to make the play, and there's 1 away.
Ball hit sharply by Ryan Peters, a slicing drive from the right-handed hitting Peters to Brian Bernth in right field. But Brian had the beat on it, tucked it away, and there's 1 out now. That'll bring up Brian Berger.
Brian Berger will be the next Mustang hitter, coming in .289 on the season. He is a senior. Hitting from the left side. We don't have too many guys in this lineup that will be hitting on either team that will be hitting from the left side of the plate. This up the middle, right back at Sievertson. Sievertson over to Matt Mosser, and quickly there's 2 down.
Well, Sievertson got a chance to do a little fielding there. Nice piece of defense. Just kept his composure and his poise. See it right here. Just a little tapper back. Well, it's more than a little tapper, I guess. It's a pretty sharply hit ball. But Sievertson able to handle it. Very good piece of defensive work. And then guns Berger down at first base, 2 outs.
The catcher, Tim Hallett, the number 3 hitter. And a good one, hitting .362 this season. First pitch over for a strike, a 1-1. Two away in the bottom of the first. Ralston on top, 2-0. And Severson going to work on Tim Hallett. This time on the inside corner, 0-2.
We talked about Bill Severson around the plate thus far. He's kept the Millard North hitters in check thus far. Oh, that was nice. A little bit outside, but he came a little bit submarine that time, a la Dan Quisenberry.
1-2 now the count to Tim Hallett. This one fouled back of first base and into the seats. Count will remain at 1-2 strikes.
Bill, did you mention the Hallett's tournament hitting thus far? I was talking to one of our people, and
came into the tournament
3 for 4 in the tournament. So he's got the hot bat here in the tournament. One of the leaders in this state championship final and state championship tournament.
Hallett stays alive, but is still in a hole at 1-2. Nobody on, 2 down. Ralston on top, 2-0.
Good shot of that young man, Timmy Hallett. 6'3", 170. Legion ball last summer hit 365. He's also an excellent student. 3.64 GPA. That just ranks right below Bill Dolman's average.
That was what you added mine to.
Added them up for the last 4 years. Not really. Bill Dolman, one of the better students to come out of the University of Nebraska.
Well, you're reading the wrong books. I don't know where you're coming from.
I always say nice things about my partner.
Thank you very much. 1-2 to Hallett, 2 away. Hallett, good size, 6'3", 170 pounds. Outside high, ball 2.
Uses that 6'3" frame on the basketball floor also. He's played basketball for this Millard North School. All Metro, obviously, in baseball.
Just missing with the fastball. Looked like he threw a little changeup on there.
I think it was indeed a changeup, as Ron Johnette, or check that, Kurt Shockey told us about this young man. He's got an excellent changeup. He can throw the fastball about 81, 82, as we talked about, but good changeup.
The count was full, and he puts it into center field, dropping in front of DeStefano. And the first hit of the ball game for the Millard North Mustangs, and we'll see if they can do some damage with 2 outs the way the Rams did earlier.
Well, Hallett just hits a little humpback liner into short center field. And the center fielder, Joe DeStefano, over there to make the catch, no problem.
And this is what we call it. This is what Adrian alluded to earlier, a courtesy runner. There's a rule in high school baseball that the teams can put in a pinch runner in essence, but it's called a courtesy runner for the pitcher and the catcher to speed up the game and give the guys in the battery a little extra rest.
And it's only applicable, as we understand it, to the pitcher and the catcher, not available to the other players. And I thought I should have known, with Burns being an outfielder, should have known that wasn't the case, but I thought somebody had signaled, oh, there's a flip throw, and he got
over by Severson, and he got him. Chris Hesse was the runner at first base. And an excellent quick move by the pitcher, Brian Severson. Caught him napping. And maybe that could be a problem with the courtesy runner when you get somebody like that in there that isn't into the ball game the way the regular players are. It's 2-0 Ralston. We'll be back after this.
Ten-year-old Yoneko lives with her family on a farm in California. When a mysterious visitor comes to work for them, the conflict between traditional Japanese and popular American culture upsets her parents' already shaky marriage. American Playhouse presents Hot Summer Winds.
Watch American Playhouse Friday night at 9 on Nebraska Public Television.
Bill Dolman and Adrian Fiala back at Rosenblatt Stadium. Phil Reichel, the second baseman, steps up and promptly hits one into left field. The fourth hit of the game off Todd Bartles.
Well, right now, Bill, what the thought that's crossing my mind is what you brought up a little earlier on, and that is maybe Todd Bartles was not quite up to it tonight. He's only had 2 days of rest, and right now they're hurting him pretty well.
Due up for Ralston, Matt Fry, the left fielder. Fry coming in hitting .280. Reichel came into this tournament, and a pickoff attempt this time for Millard North is unsuccessful. Reichel came in hitting .235 on the season, so he promptly banged a base hit. Now Matt Fry, a little better hitter. See what he can do here. Runner bluffs. Pitches over for a strike, 0-1.
One of the things we need to point out early on in this ball game is that Ralston will indeed run. Kurt Shockey likes to play aggressive baseball. Do the hit and run. He just put out a bunch of signals in that third base box just a second ago. But they like to run. They'll do hit and run and steal.
Bartles very aware of Reichel over at first base. The pitch to Fry, 1-0. Grounded into the hole between first and second into right field. Reichel on his way to third. The throw coming in is not going to be in time. Fry holds it first. Reichel safe at third.
Reichel got turned around at second base, and now he's going to do a little housekeeping. He may need the Maytag man at third base. Anybody want to send down the washer? But he got spun around at second base on the play. I didn't know that he was going to recover quick enough to make the turn and come back and go to third base, but he indeed made the play as Millard North right fielder, Rob Miller that is, fired the ball to third base just a little bit late. But Kurt Shockey giving more signs now down at third base as Ralston has runners at the corners.
Back up to the top of the order, and Aaron Christensen grounded out first to pitcher, and there's a high fly ball, and let it drop between them. The run will score, and Fry moves up 90 feet. Well, so miscommunication comes to haunt him.
All it is, just miscommunication. The center fielder, Peters, he's got to play quarterback, as we talked about earlier. We'll see it right here. Now, there's the shortstop backing up. That's Urban. And Peters, he just needs to call the shortstop off. That's all he needs to do, say, I got it. Now we're going to have a little conference on the mound as Ron Johnette, and rightfully so, needs to come out and calm this ball club down. They just need to pull themselves together right here and not let this game get any further out of hand, Bill, than it already has. But Peters in center field, he's going to try to call off or take whatever ball he can, and it's his job to call off the infielder, to call off the other two outfielders. If he thinks he can make the play, he shall indeed make the play. But that did not happen, so another base hit is that Christensen gets the single, moves up the runner Fry to second base, and Reichel scores from third base.
There is action down in the bullpen for Millard North. Can't quite get a number on who it is, but Ron Johnette is now done talking to his troops. But his team is a little shell-shocked right now. They trail 3-0, and they've given up 5 hits, or Bartles has given up 5 hits early on, and there's nobody down here in the second inning.
Brian Bodner is warming up down in the bullpen for Millard North right now, number 15. He was the alternate choice for a starter this evening.
The bunt attempt by Marco down the third base line, and it goes foul.
Yeah, Bill, you wonder, Ralston has come back, I believe, 13 out of 15 times this year. They've come from behind to win. And my thought crossed my mind when they got a hit here quick, maybe these guys don't know how to react as far as having a lead. But they're doing well right now. They continue to swing the ball bats real well. They're aggressive on the base paths, and they're getting the job done here in the early stages.
And they're going for the throat. Marco trying to drop the bunt down, and again he'll square. This time back to the pitcher. He'll go to third. They got the force. A good play by Todd Bartles to get the lead runner.
Bartles showing why a lot of people think he is indeed a Division I baseball player. He's an excellent pitcher, as we've talked about. He's taken his lumps here earlier on, but we'll see the play right here. He's going to make the play. There's the bunt right out in front of the plate, and Bartles comes, spins, then fires a good shot over to third base to nail the runner at third, and that was Matt Fry.
Tough play for Bartles, too, to have to wheel around 360 degrees to throw a strike to third base.
Good ability.
Another ball hit to third base to Small, over to second. Tried to get the double play, not in time, but a nice job by Marty Merrill to knock the ball down so it doesn't go into foul territory. That would have allowed the run to score.
See it right here. Almost a double play, but just a little bit late, and that's a good stop over there by Merrill.
They've got one run in the second, and if Bartles and Millard North can get out of this inning by just giving up one run, they can consider that a minor victory. At the plate now is Brian Bernth, the right fielder. He singled and scored his first time up. The runner at first is DeStefano. And at third is Aaron Christensen. This one lifted into center field. Coming over is Peters. In right field, it's Miller. Peters will take it. A minor collision, but Ryan Peters this time is not going to let communication get in the way of making the play. He takes it himself, and he went down on the play, but good aggressive defense by Ryan Peters, and that ends the inning. And Millard North gives up the lone run. They trail 3-0, but it could have been a lot worse.
Could have been much worse, Bill, as you pointed out. And Peters, again, as we talked about, the quarterback, he calls off everybody else and takes the ball. We're going to see it one more time. Here's the drive into center field by Bernth. And Peters is now, they're both convening on the ball. That's Peters and Miller. And, well, he just didn't call it off early enough. But Peters did indeed make the play, and that'll end the inning.
The Rams get one on 3 hits. Due up for Millard North in the bottom of the second. I have Brad Urban. Urban was up when the pickoff was made. Brad Urban, Marty Merrill, and Rob Miller, the right fielder.
Brad Urban on the year, hitting 400. Came into this tournament, I should say, hitting 400. And 2 home runs and 14 RBIs. He leads the team in both of those categories. He's the power man and also the run-producing man. Excellent ball player. Covers a lot of ground for Millard North. Plays good defense.
Well, the clouds are here, but the rain hasn't come with them yet, and we are thankful for that. I think we're going to get this game in. 7 innings in this state championship game.
We don't want a shutout from Mother Nature, Bill Dolan.
Right now, it's just a beautiful night. A little cool, a little crisp. The wind has been very mild, again, out of the southwest at under 10 miles an hour, so it's just a good night for baseball. Leading off is Urban. Pitch inside for ball 1.
Urban 5'10", 155. As we talked about, an excellent hitter. He's also an excellent base runner. 8 out of 9 in the stolen base category.
Watches strike 1 go by. The count evened up at a ball and a strike. Urban leads the team with 22 hits. He also has 5 doubles to his credit, so he can get the extra base hit when he needs to.
Second on the team in doubles.
He has yet to swing. 2 balls, 1 strike. Nobody down. Leading off the bottom of the second inning. Again, Urban, Merrill, and Miller due up for the Mustangs. They trail 3-0. Hit sharply at third off Scott Conley. Christensen can't make the play, and he ruled that a hit or an error as Urban reaches base.
Scored it a hit, Bill. Ball hit sharply down to third base. And the Ralston third baseman, Conley, it was hit like a dart. So I'm not surprised at all that was very, very tough for Scott Conley to handle down at third base, and it was indeed scored a hit. Second hit in the afternoon, or second hit. Is that right? The scoreboard has only 1, but I have 2 in the book. Hallett had a base hit in the first inning.
Marty Merrill, the first baseman, now up, and he looks at a ball. Merrill coming in, hitting .264 as there's a throw over to first. No homers, 12 RBI on the season. Little equipment trouble for Keith Marco behind the plate.
These catchers always take the time, don't they?
Take any rest you can get, right?
It's well, there's a little bit of that, but it's not uncommon. Your equipment takes a lot of beating back there, and
he's just stretching out his knees. Those take a big beating down there too.
Well, I can tell you about that right now. Wait about 20 years from now with Hallett back there. Check that Marco.
Sievertson has fallen behind 2-0 in the count to Marty Merrill. The runner at first is Brad Urban. Reaches on a single, and that's the way it was scored. Hit sharply off Conley.
Keith Marco did his equipment repair and then took one pitch in from Sievertson. And then a little frustration, I think, on behalf of Marco. He simply dumped his mask and his protective helmet and went out to visit with Sievertson. Apparently a cross-up on the sides. As we look at the next pitch in, it's in there for a strike.
2 balls and 1 strike to Marty Merrill. Nobody down. Sievertson out of the stretch. Mosser holding the runner on at first. Up the middle. This could be 2. Christensen makes the play, and the double play is completed. Christensen to Reichel to Mosser. And quickly there's 2 down.
Taylor made double play. Marty Merrill drills one to the shortstop. And Christensen is there to make the play. And I'll tell you what, that ball had a charge in it along the ground. As you see, Christensen make the play right there. Nice toss, and then the relay over to first. Again, a custom-made double play, and it really changes the complexion of the inning. What could have been a threat is now, there are now 2 outs, and Ralston has defused that threat.
Stepping to the plate, Rob Miller, the Mustang right fielder. Comes in with a .327 average. That pitch a little bit short. Miller, 5'10", 150-pound senior, has lettered twice with the Mustang varsity. On the inside corner for strike 1, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Another part of that championship team last year, hit .340 in Legion ball. Seasoned ball player, Rob Miller.
The 2-1 pitch. Hit sharply, but foul. One thing I'm noticing here early on in this ball game is that both teams are getting to the pitcher. Obviously, Bishop, or rather Bartles for Millard North, may be a little tired, and that may make the ball a little bit bigger for Ralston. But Millard North is also getting around here on Brian Sievertson and making contact. That could pay off down the road.
Well, as we talked about earlier, Bill, it's early. No reason to panic.
The 2-2 pitch hit into right field. Drifting over to make the play is Brian Burnt. So 3 up and 3 down the hard way. The Mustangs had a man on, but the double play erased him. And they come away empty-handed, but they do get a hit. So after 2 complete innings, Ralston on top of Millard North 3-0, and we'll head to the bottom, or rather to the top of the 3rd inning. Due up for Ralston, Jeff Heatham, Matt Mosser, and Sean Conley. We'll have more from the Nebraska State Baseball Championship after this. Back at Rosenblatt Stadium, the first pitch of the 3rd inning from Todd Bartles to Jeff Heatham is a swinging strike, and the count goes 0-1. And Bartles out quickly, 0-2. 2 strikes to the batter, Jeff Heatham. He is the designated hitter. He singled his first time up, was stranded at 3rd base in that 1st inning. The 0-2 pitch to the shortstop, Urban. Long throw to make in time. The 1 away in the inning.
Good play by that young man right there. He had a lot of real estate to cover with that throw. Sharply hit ball by Heatham. We'll see it right here again as Urban corks one over to first base and guns down Heatham. Maybe made it a little bit routine. Nice job.
Pat Mosser, the first baseman.
Look
up the middle, right back at Bartles. A slow roller, and he'll beat it out. That's what might have been. It could have gone off Bartles and been a single into center field. Or Todd Doxson, the second baseman, could have come over to make the play. We'll never know.
You never know that as you look at Mosser on first base. He's happy. He's got himself another base hit, his 2nd hit on the night. He had an RBI single in the 1st inning. And now he's down at first base with his 2nd hit, and that'll help that .214 average, Bill.
I was going to say, you'd like to see your .214 number 6 hitter putting the ball in play. 1 away. A strike to Scott Conley. Conley grounded into a force play, or rather a fielder's choice, back in the 1st inning. Throw over. Mosser diving back head first, but the play wasn't close. 3-0 Ralston here, top of the third. Pitch way outside. And the count evens up at a ball and a strike.
Tim Hallett, the catcher, Millard North catcher that time. A little nimble on his feet. He had to come way out, way to the right. Bartles uncorking one way to the right side as we look at a fifth flip throw over there to first base. No chance.
This on the outside corner, and Bartles now settling down 1-2.
Saw that pitch right there. You see the pen for Ralston heating up right now. But you saw that last pitch, Bill, excuse me. You saw that last pitch tail in. Bartles has his fastball moving in on the right-handed hitter. Now there's one way up high. Ball just got away from him there. But the ball tailing in on the right-handed hitter. And Bartles, as we talked about, can throw it about 87, 88.
I have Aaron Christensen, number 14, in the bullpen for Ralston. And if that's the case, he is the starting shortstop for this Ralston Ram team in this game. There's a shot into center field. Drifting back is Ryan Peters, about 15 feet in front of the warning track in dead air. That's a tough shot from Scott Conley, but all it is a long out, and Massa retreats back to first base.
Conley driving the ball to dead away center field, and I want to tell you, if you're going to put one out of this ballpark, you got to hit it and hit it well. It's really a pitcher's baseball park down the lines. 343 to dead away center field, 420. And there's a lot of real estate to cover in this in Rosenblatt Stadium, and pitchers like to pitch here.
Well, there was a kid from Omaha Westside in the first round, the name escapes me, that hit a home run over the 420 sign in dead center field. And
that's a poke, man.
Bill Olson, the Northwest coach, was telling us they may have cleared the second wall up there. And there's another ball hit into center field. Peters won't have to move as much for this one. And he has it safely for the third out of the inning. So finally, Millard North able to shut the Ralston Rams down. The Rams come away with no runs, but they did pick up a hit. A runner was left. And after 2.5 innings, Ralston leads Millard North 3-0. The point I was going to make earlier, the interesting thing about this game is that Kurt Shockey, the Ralston head coach, had the same dilemma that Ron Johnette had with Millard North. Do you go with your ace? His ace pitched in that first inning, or the first game, Rich Bishop. Bishop 5-1 on the season, and he beat Lincoln Southeast in the opener. Was he going to come back with Bishop, and were we going to have the two of the best pitchers in the state going at it? Johnette elected to go with his ace, and Shockey elected to go with Sievertson to see if the senior could do the job for him. So far, so good, but as we talked about earlier, Millard North is getting the ball in play and making contact.
That's right, and you just have to keep doing that, Bill. A lot of times early in the game, you hit the ball right at people, and you cannot get discouraged. And this team, Millard North, the defending state champions from last year, realize that full well. They'll keep swinging the ball bats, I can guarantee you. Ron Johnette, as I mentioned in the pregame opening, Ron Johnette, a former teammate of mine at the University of Nebraska. We played baseball together for 3 years, and he's a competitor, and his team is not going to quit. We just got word that Jeff Heenum, his first at bat, has been changed from a hit to an error, and I would agree with that call. Thank you, Don Kraft, the official scorer here this afternoon.
Leading off the third inning for the Millard North Mustangs is the third baseman, John Small. Small has yet to bat in this game, and the first pitch is strike. 3 up and 3 down for Millard North in the first 2 innings, and again, Ralston on top 3-0. Small on the season, hitting .426, leading the team. No home runs, 12 RBI.
As Bill mentioned, just a sophomore. 2 for 3 in the district championship game.
2 starters in this Millard North lineup are sophomores. There's the ball hit over to Scott Conley at third. Another long throw to be made, and they've got Small in time for the out.
Great job down there by Conley at third base once again. He's made a couple of good plays here this early evening. Watch him here, just knock it down. Ball going to spin him around just a little bit, but he regains his composure, and there you see he got set. He got set to make the throw. He didn't really rush it. He kept his poise. He kept his eye right on first base, and said, hey, I got a good enough arm. I can throw this guy out no problem. But he kept his poise and didn't panic and try to rush that throw.
Casey Alvano, the designated hitter, hitting in the 8th hole tonight for Millard North. Takes his first pitch outside for ball 1. Alvano, 294 on the season. This on the outside corner. That's where Sievertson wanted the first pitch, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike.
We talked about excellent students. Albano fits that category also.
At the knees for strike 2, 1 and 2.
National Honor Society member, Student Council treasurer, 377 GPA.
Now we're getting into your territory.
Yeah, add them all up and you got them.
Outside, ball 2.
Also has a good eye up at the plate, Bill.
Count evens up, 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 away in the inning. Small grounding to the third baseman, Scott Conley, for the first out. Ralston 3 runs on 6 hits, no errors. Millard North in 2 innings, no runs, 2 hits and an error. There's a ball hit straight up at home plate. The pitcher Severson calling for it. And he makes the grab at the first baseline, and there's 2 away.
Again, somewhat of an unusual play. Very rarely will you see a pitcher take a pop fly. Usually the first baseman or the third baseman will come and call him off. But Severson decided, hey, I'm into this ball game tonight, and I'm going for it. His adrenaline level must be up there about 90 right now. But Brian Severson, 5'11", 165. He's a senior, and he's come to play baseball here tonight.
Batting ninth for Millard North is Todd Doxson, the second baseman. And Severson now is finding a groove in the lower part of the strike zone. This one at the knees again for a strike. 0-1 the count with 2 away. Little sidearm delivery, check swing, foul.
Well, Severson, as we discussed earlier, has good stuff, good breaking pitch. Throws it about 81, 82. But he also is a good spot pitcher as we look at Ron Johnette, the head coach for Millard North. Again, my teammate a few years ago. We were rivals. He played at Omaha Benson strikeout.
Pulled Dotson, and he gets his first strikeout of the ball game to end the inning. So 3 up and 3 down for Millard North. Again, that's 3 times in a row, and they have yet to score. After 3 complete, it's Ralston 3, Millard North nothing. We'll have more after this.
Adrian Fiala with Bill Dolman back at Rosenblatt Stadium. Good to have you with us here tonight. Ralston, top of the 4th inning. Matt Fry will lead it off. Aaron Christensen will follow, and Keith Marco will follow him if any of those people are successful. Joe DeStefano and Brian Bernth will follow those people as Todd Bartles on the hill. He throws the first pitch in. It's up high for a ball. Home plate umpire Jerry Bowers. Don't see any indication on the board. There it is. Okay, we'll go with that. Matt Fry, 280, and there's a line drive into center field. A nice base hit from Matt Fry. His second hit on the evening. He singled his last time up and was doubled off by the pitcher. Next hitter up, Aaron Christensen. Aaron, the leadoff hitters we talked about earlier on. And Aaron on the afternoon, or evening, I should say, grounded out in the first inning and singled and was stranded in the second inning. Aaron hitting .469 coming into the tournament. No homers and 13 RBIs as Bartles checks the runner, Fry, over at first base. That'll get a little bit of that Rosenblatt dirt on the uni. Here's the next pitch into Aaron Anderson, or Christensen, that is. Breaking pitch for a ball. Ralston came into this game 15-2 on the year, ranked 2nd in the World Herald. They were state champions last in 1988. 3rd year for 3 consecutive years. There's a ground ball, should be 2. Now he booted it. The shortstop, the Millard North shortstop Urban booted it. And no, I guess they did get him. They did indeed get him on the force at second base. So the runner, Matt Fry, is out 6-4. And Aaron Christensen is on at first base with a fielder's choice.
Heads-up play by Todd Doxson, the second baseman, to stay with the double play possibility by going over to cover second base. He could have very easily seen the problems that Urban was having and gave up on the play as well, but they do get the out, and that's the important thing, and especially since that was the lead runner.
That'll bring up Keith Marco. Keith on the evening. There goes the runner, scores around the bunt, throw down to second base. They won't have him as the throw goes on into center field. But Christensen will stay at second base. He slid head first into second base. Didn't recover in time, so a stolen base now for Aaron Christensen, and that's one of the trademarks of Kurt Shockey baseball, and that is he will run. We'll see it right here. Good jump.
They're just taking advantage of Hallett, and they're just trying to make things happen out there. The throw was to the left side of the bag, Peter's doing a good job of coming in to back up the play. Doxson was not there that time to back him up, and that enabled Christensen to make the successful steal.
Next pitch into Marco, down, gets away from the catcher, Hallett. No problem or no advance down at second base on the part of Aaron Christensen. Aaron Christensen, in 17 games this year, has gotten on base, make it 18 games, 15 ball games, fans. So you know why he's a key element in the Ralston attack. As Keith Marco now watches an 0-2 pitch, a 2-0 pitch, he hits it up the middle. That's going to score a run as Christensen rounds third. He's going to come around to score, and Keith Marco is in at first base with an RBI single.
Ralston's making things happen out there.
Well, it just shows you, Bill, about that aggressive style of baseball. As you and I have talked about before, a lot of ball clubs that play that brand of baseball, they will create and manufacture situations. That's what's happened here, is more activity now in the Millard North bullpen. Joe DiStefano will step in. Joe was hit in the first inning by a pitch from Bartles, came around to score, and then got on to first base in the second inning on a fielder's choice. Is more conference now as Marty Merrill from first base comes in. Tim Hallett talking with his pitcher on the mound. A little activity, as we mentioned, down in that Millard North Mustang bullpen.
Number 15 is Brian Bodner. Number 20 was Paul Menzito.
DiStefano will step in now, hitting .386 on the year, 1 home run and 16 RBIs as Bartles winds and fires. There goes the runner. He's going to have this base stolen.
This time a good throw from Hallett, but just not in time.
Keith Marco, second stolen base in this inning for Ralston, and they continue to be aggressive on the base paths. See it right there. There goes Marco.
Good jump, and he did not look to the catcher. Neither runner at who was the other one? Christensen on his stolen base. Good fundamental base running, going straight for second base, not worrying about where the pitch is or the throw.
Long fly ball into the gap in right center, and I don't think they're going to catch this one. No, they're not. Will go for extra bases as the runner comes around to score from second. And DiStefano is on to third base. He slides into third base with a triple. It gives it the old Kirk Gibson routine at third base, an RBI triple for Joe DiStefano. And the Ralston crowd absolutely loves it. Ralston now up 5-0 in the top of the fourth. That's their 9th hit on the evening. 5 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. Millard North, no runs, 2 hits, and 1 error. And Ron Johnette now will make his way out to the mound. I think, Bill, the rule about visits to the mound, actually, you get 3 visits. The 4th time, the guy has to come out. And that's per game. 3 visits per game as Ron Johnette now will talk to Bartles and say, how you doing?
I think this is his 3rd visit, but I think that's if he's not going to need the 4th one.
If he comes out one more time, then he has to take the pitcher out. But Ron Johnette right now just wants to talk with Todd Bartles and find out how the young man is feeling, how he's doing. Probably talk with the catcher a little bit there.
Well, he's already taken the ball from Todd Bartles.
So we're going to see another pitcher. Yes, we are.
Well, he called a right-hander in, and he's got 2 right-handers warming up in the bullpen. And it looks like going to be number 15, Brian Bodner. You can't blame Ron Johnette for going with Bartles in this situation. He's got the state finals. He's got his best pitcher, and his best pitcher says he's ready to go. He just didn't have it here in the early going.
That's right, and the only way you check that out is the young man comes in. He says, Coach, I'm ready to pitch. So you go with him. And unfortunately for Bartles tonight, Todd just did not have his stuff, and Ralston able to tommyhawk him all over the place here tonight as Brian Bodner now comes in. Brian, our information initially was that Brian would be the starter, 5'11", 165. He's a junior. 3-0 on the year, 2 saves. He has a 1.4 ERA. He's pitched in 29 2/3 innings, given up 14 hits, 6 earned runs. He's walked 16, and he's struck out 26 batters in those 29 2/3 innings. Last year in Legion Ball had a 6-3 record. Beat Waterloo this year in the district tournament 5-1. Gave up 3 hits, struck out 6, and walked 4. So Brian Bodner will now be the man of the hour. See if he can stop the bleeding here in the top of the fourth inning. A nice shot of that high kick. Ron John Ed out on the mound with Brian Bodner right now. Ralston, 8 seniors, 6 juniors, and 2 sophomores. They're going to lose some quality ball players this year. They hit .306 as a team. Team ERA was 3.64. They beat Omaha Northwest in the semifinals to gain the final berth. They beat Northwest 7-3. The winning pitcher was Matt Fry. He ran his record to 3-0. Matt gave up 5 hits in that ball game. And again, Ralston came from behind, as we talked about, to win that ball game. They were behind 3-0 after the first inning. Bill Olson and his Northwest club popped him for 3 runs right away. But Ralston came back, scored 5 runs in the second inning, took the lead, and remained in the lead. As we see Brian Bodner, he's about ready to go. And we're about ready to go here. As Joe DiStefano just cranked a RBI triple into the gap, right center. He's down at third base right now. 2 runs are across. And Brian Bodner will now face Brian Berth. Brian singled and scored his first time up. Flew out to center field in the second inning. And he'll be looking at the right-handed pitch from Brian Bodner, and that's down low for a ball.
Things just aren't going the right way for Millard North in terms of the way the rest of this tournament has gone. As we wait for the pitch. They had not committed an error defensively. They had been getting very good pitching and shutting down the other team's offenses, and they'd been scoring some runs. Well, right now they've given up 9 hits. They've scored no runs. They've already given up an error. It's just totally uncharacteristic as the infield is in. Millard North infield is in as Berth swings and misses at that pitch from Bodner. Runs the count 1-2. 1 out here. Infield will try to cut down the runner DiStefano at the plate. Should a ground ball to the infield occur. Brian Berth comes from great baseball stock here in South Omaha. His dad, Ron, and there's the next pitch in there, and he got it. He got Brian Berth looking on the outside corner. Good fastball on the outside corner. And I believe that's, well, it is. Yeah, it's got to be. That's Bodner's first strikeout. Good way to start. Well, it's the first strikeout of the day for either Millard North pitcher. So 2 out now. Infield go back to regular depth. Next hitter up is Jeff Heaton. Jeff had an RBI. Well, we got that changed. He did not have the single. He got on an error in the first inning and grounded out to shortstop in the third inning. There's the next pitch in. It's up high. So the count runs 2-0. 2 outs here. Top of the fourth inning. Ralston ahead 5-0. They've been beating the drum thus far here on the evening. Next pitch in is a pop fly. Should be some room. Hallett going back, and he's got it. Timmy Hallett making a great play to end the inning for the Ralston Rams, but not until they scored 2 runs on 2 hits. Check that, 3 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. And so after 3.5, Ralston leads at 5-0. Millard North coming to the plate. Well, Bill, it's been, as you said, an uncharacteristic ball game for Millard North thus far. They've played good defense. They've had good pitching all year, and they've hit the ball well. But just the reverse of those factors and characteristics is true here this evening. They were kind of a surprise team the way they have played in this tournament. You talked about the way Ralston got to this point. Millard North defeated Bellevue West in the first round 10-0, and in a game that really wasn't very close. They got a great performance out of Todd Bartles in that game. And here's the previous play by Hallett. Initially, when the ball left the bat, it looked like Hallett thought the ball was out of play and was going back into the stands, but then there were enough people helping him out around there that said, hey, the ball was in play, so he was able to come back and make the out. There's thunder in the Ralston bats tonight, and there's thunder lurking way out there in the east in right field, and we're just going to talk that right around the corner. Those big old beautiful thunderheads. Great shot, crew. We love that. We love that. As we go to the bottom of the fourth inning, Millard North stepping in, top of the order, Ryan Peters. He flew out to right field, a slicing line drive, to Brian Berth in the first inning. And I tell you, Brian Severson has done a great job thus far. He's retired Millard North in order in the first, the second, and the third inning. Line drive, and he's out. Ryan Peters hits a line drive shot to Aaron Christensen at shortstop, and he nails it.
Can't hit it much harder than that and not have it count.
He got a good jump off the crack of the bat, or the clank of the bat with the aluminum one, and just went right with the ball and never lost sight of it. It was his initial jump on the sound that made that play.
Well, I'll tell you what, Peters has got to be real frustrated. He's hit the ball real hard twice now, and he's hit it right to people. If he hits it a foot either way, just another foot either way, he's got himself a couple of hits. But that's the game of baseball. Brian Berger takes the first pitch in from Severson way up high.
Seems right now that those balls are going a foot either way for Ralston right now.
Yeah.
They've got 9 hits on the board.
It's almost, Kurt Shockey talked about destiny. So far, the first 4 innings, it has been that. Ground ball to second base, should be out. Flips over, and he gets Brian Berger. Phil Reichel.
What a big-time play by Phil Reichel.
Phil Reichel comes up with a good shot. He likes it. He's smiling. Nice play, young man. Very nice play. Backhands. You see it right here.
Well, he's thinking it's routine all the way, but I know after he made the throw, he was thinking, hey, I made a great play here, and he does. Nice backhanded stop. Stops and throws. A perfect strike over to Mosser just in time to get Brian Berger.
Tim Hallett will step in. Tim Hallett, the Millard North catcher. First pitch in, a little let-up pitch.
I can remember on the rare occasions that I actually made a play like that, I used to think, let's just take off and hit for the dugout and call the inning good.
You had a big smile on your face, just like Reichel did on that play. Timmy Hallett, the catcher, 6'3", 170, 3-year letterman. Tripled against Papillion La Vista in this tournament. Second on the team in RBIs, second in triples with 2. And as we talked about earlier on, 3 for 4 in this tournament. Hit 365 in Legion ball. Tim, his last time up, single, and then his runner was picked off, and there's a fly ball in the left field, and that should do it. As the left fielder, Matt Fry, makes the catch, and that'll end the inning for Millard North. And again, Brian Severson retires Millard North 1-2-3, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. And after 4 complete innings of play, Ralston leads it 5-0. Stay with us. Fifth inning, Ralston leads at 5-0. Ralston will send up Matt Mosser, Scott Conley, and Phil Reichel. Any success on their part will lead to Matt Fry, Aaron Christensen, and Keith Marco. Mosser steps in, single and an RBI his first time up. Single his second time up. There's a swing and a miss. 2 for 2 on the night. The normally light-hitting Mosser, 214 on the year. No homers and 8 RBIs. 2 letters. He's a basketball player, a tennis player. As Bill mentioned earlier on, there's the next pitch again up high. Well, let's see. We're going to run the count 1-1, I guess. Check that, fans. 1-1 the count to Mosser. That'll be a ball. Bill mentioned earlier on, Matt is the brother of Todd Mosser, pitcher for the University of Nebraska. Saw a lot of him this year. There's a call strike. That'll even up the count at 2-2.
Kurt Shockey, the coach at Ralston in his 10th year, 38 years old, was an All-Big 8 shortstop at Kansas State.
Ball way outside. That'll run the count to 3-2. Kurt Shockey played at K-State. I think he played a little pro ball, too, as I recall, in the Philadelphia Phillies organization.
Back in 75.
Minor league ball. Swing and a miss, and that'll erase Mosser. And that'll be the second strikeout for Brian Bonder. Struck out Brian Berth in the 4th inning, and now Mosser, and that'll bring up Scott Conley. Scott got out on a fielder's choice in the 1st inning and then flew deep to center field in the 3rd inning. Scott Conley. You hear him. Come on, Scotty. Everybody's into this ball game. Bonder offers up the first pitch. A strike. Scott Conley, a 3-year letterman. Made the Corny Carlin All-Star team last year. Excellent honor for the top players in American Legion baseball. There's a foul back to the screen, no play. Scott Conley, 6 foot, 180 pounds. He'll be going either to Iowa State or Kansas this fall. He'd like to study engineering. His uncle played for the Boston Red Sox years ago, his uncle Gene Conley. 0-2 now. Bodner ahead of the hitter, obviously. Swing and a miss, and he erases Scott Conley. So a nice let-up pitch, and Bodner just picks up his third strikeout. He's his third strikeout in 4 hitters.
And the fourth hitter popped up to the catcher.
So Brian Bodner doing the job right now as Phil Reichel will step in. Phil obviously making that great play at second base in the inning, top of this inning. First pitch in from Bodner. It's down low for a ball. Phil Reichel, love to see it. He makes a great play and has a little smile on his face, Bill. You just like to see that kind of thing. As we see the 1-0 pitch up high, that'll be ball 2.
Well, they said his most memorable moment in baseball was playing here at Rosenblatt Stadium and hitting a triple. I think he can probably put that play in the scrapbook when he heads on home.
Had a triple against Lincoln Southeast in the first round game. 2-0 pitch. In there for a strike. Ball just caught the outside, or the inside part of the plate, I should say, as we have 2 out here. Top of the 5th inning, Ralston leads at 5-0. 2 down, as we mentioned. Foul off, no play. Phil Reichel, 5'9", 160 pounds, plays a little football over there at Ralston. 3 letters in baseball. He's a senior.
He's a kicker. That's a pretty nice, safe little position
good
at times.
To be. Wear that square toe around. Everybody looks at your foot and says, "Hey, what happened to your shoe?" Phil Reichel, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning. Brian Bodner stares down. He's got the sign from Hallett. Here we go. Breaking pitch, a little tapper out to the mound as Bodner stabs it and fires over to first base. What's the call? He got him. First base umpire appeals to home plate umpire Jerry Bowers, and he does indicate that the play was made. So Bodner guns down Reichel at first base. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left as Kurt Shockey talking to home plate umpire Bowers, but it's going to stand. So Ralston goes down in order. We'll take a look at it one more time.
It looked like he may have tagged him before he got to the bag. And so it was a great play by the first baseman, Marty Merrill. Nice play by Bodner.
Well.
And I'm not sure I see a tag.
And I'm not sure I see a tag either. Here's Bodner once again firing high, and Merrill will be way up in the air.
And there was no tag made.
No tag there at all. So Kurt Shockey was indeed justified. The evidence is there, folks, but at any rate, the play will stand.
And Reichel was down for a time. It looked like he fell on his wrist. So not only is he out on the play, but he gets banged up a little bit. He's going to stay in the ball game, though. But certainly some concern the way he grabbed the wrist. It looked like he may have sprained it or broken it. And the way he's playing second base tonight, that would be a big blow.
And we'll keep it right here as Millard North will come to the plate. Millard North will send up Brad Urban, Marty Merrill. Just made that play at first base, and Rob Miller. And there you took a look at Phil Reichel once again.
Phil's on his way to Missouri. He's going to be a broadcast major of all things.
All right. Good for you, Philip, and stay in Missouri. There you see a shot of, is it Jerry Bowers?
Jerry Bowers, the home plate umpire. He's the one that made the call. That's a good job by the umpiring crew to rely on one another and work together, as you said, to make the right call. Unfortunately, a replay show it may not have been the right call, but hey we weren't there. We weren't there. Let's be diplomatic about it.
I'll tell you what, you play it back about 99% of the time, and you're going to find out that the umpire is correct. But at any rate, Brad Urban will step in now to face Brian Severson. As we talked about earlier on, Brian has retired in order. Each of the Millard North hitters, 1, 2, 3, through innings 1 through 4. So he has done a marvelous job thus far as Brad Urban takes the first pitch in for a strike. Urban singled his last time up, and then it was doubled off in a 6-4-3 double play. Brad Urban, as we talked about earlier on, 2 home runs, 14 RBIs. One of the big clubbers on this ball club as the next pitch comes in. It's 1-1. There's a 1-1 pitch. And it is a ball. 2 balls, no strikes, nobody out. Ralston leads at 5-0. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Ralston 5 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. Millard North, no runs, 2 hits, and they've committed an error. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Ground ball down the third base line. Good job that time by Conley once again. Fires over to first base in time, and he guns down Brad Urban. Nice job again by Scott Conley at third base.
I tell you, this Ralston team has turned everything up a notch the way it seems. They're hitting the ball hard. They're making the defensive play, and Severson has done a great job on the mound. And there's the backhanded play by Conley to stay with the play, set himself. And he did pound the ball into the glove once, and that may have cost him a little bit, but a nice arm. Good long throw and good strong throw.
Had him by a couple of steps. Perfect throw as Marty Merrill now will step in, hit into that double play that we talked about just a moment ago. Line shot into center field, and that's DeStefano, and he's got it. Joe DeStefano tucks it away in center field. And again, Severson working on retiring the batting order 1, 2, 3. As Rob Miller will now step in and try to see what he can do to break up the rhythm of Brian Severson on the hill. And Bill, I guess we have to say at this point that Severson has just done a masterful job of silencing the Millard North bats.
Just 2 hits on the night.
Rob Miller takes it up high.
And the only trouble he got, and if you can call it that, was back in the second inning when Urban, the leadoff hitter, got on a base hit, but he was erased by a double play. So that just shows you how the defense has risen to the occasion as well in this game.
Foul off, no play. Rob Miller flew out to right field last time up in the second inning. Hit it hard to right field, but to no avail. Selected last year to play in the area All-Star team. He's second on the team in doubles. First in triples, has a home run, and he's 10 out of 10 in the stolen base category here this year as he takes the next pitch in there. That'll run the count 2-1. 2 outs here as Severson continues to work on Millard North and doing a great job for the Ralston Rams thus far. 2-1 pitch. No play on that ball. Rob Miller, part of that 1990 state championship team also. He's headed to college, not quite sure. He wants to go to college, play a little baseball, get that education. We would encourage him to do all of those things as Severson stares in right now at his catcher. That's Keith Marco. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 5-0. Ralston leads, bottom of the 5th. Here's the pitch. Ground ball down to third base. Conley once again. He's going to gun it over to first base, and that retires the inning. And once again, 1, 2, 3 for the 5th consecutive inning by Brian Severson. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. After 4.5, check that after 5 complete. Ralston leads 5-0.
Bill Dolman and Adrian Fiala back at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha. It is the 1991 State High School Championship game, and Ralston on top of Millard North, the defending champion, 5-0. And Matt Fry steps in to lead off the 6th inning. We go 7 in this one, so time is running out for the Mustangs. The first pitch over for a strike. Brian Bodner has done a tremendous job in relief of Todd Bartles for Millard North. He's retired the 5 batters he has faced and has 3 strikeouts to his credit. So if you're a Mustang fan, you've got to be second-guessing the decision of Ron Johnette to go with Todd Bartles. But if you're a baseball fan or a baseball man or a woman or anything, you have to understand, though, when you've got your ace, and Todd Bartles is arguably the best pitcher in the state. Certainly we've had some other talented players, and if he was ready to go, I'm sure that's the man that they wanted to go with.
Well, right, Bill. You're not going to question that at all. Todd said I'm ready to go, and he is indeed their best pitcher, as you mentioned, one of the top pitchers in the state. So you go with it.
Pitch outside, the count goes to 3-1.
Bodner has done a great job. He's faced 5 hitters, and the ball that's been hit the furthest is a little tapper back to the pitcher. First walk.
Fry draws a leadoff walk. He had singled twice in his previous 2 plate appearances. And so the leadoff runner is on board again for Ralston. And they have done that in the second and fourth inning. They've done a lot of damage with 2 outs in this ball game. Stepping in next is Aaron Christensen, the shortstop. He is the team's leading hitter at .469, grounded out, singled, and got on a fielder's choice and scored his last time up. Runner goes swung on for a strike. The throw from Hallett in time.
Great throw.
And they get Fry stealing.
Absolutely great throw by Tim Hallett behind the plate. Able to come up out of there, fight it out of the web, and then throw a strike down to Urban, covering at second base. See it right here. Watch this. Watch Hallett, the catcher. Even a breaking pitch, and good form, good throw, and there's Urban just making the tag. Nice work. You got to have that. When they start running on you, Bill, the only way you shut it down is to throw out a runner or two. But with Kerchaki, I'm not sure that's the remedy either.
I don't think that's going to stop him.
Especially with a 5-run lead. You get a lot of things offensively with a 5-run lead.
Christensen hangs tough, 0-2, fouling one back.
Aaron Christensen, 6 foot, 175 pounds. His uncle Mike Dasher, played AAA ball in the Cincinnati organization. Comes from good baseball stock. Couple of letters in baseball. Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss for strike 3, and that is the 4th strikeout for Brian Bodner. And now there is 2 away in the 6th.
Has good stuff. Of the 4 strikeouts, 3 have been swinging. And he's shown enough off-speed, change up the curveball and whatnot to keep these hitters off their pace as far as their rhythm goes. And Brian Bodner's just done a great job. That's all you can say.
Keith Marco was the next Ram hitter. He is 1 for 3 tonight with a single, an RBI, and a run scored. This is his first time to face Bodner. Way outside, ball 1. No damage done, nobody on base.
Keith Marco, the Ram catcher, and we talked a lot about academics here tonight. He is also one of those outstanding students. He's carried a 3.0 plus grade point average all through high school. Certainly like to see that. And as I mentioned earlier, he likes to sing to the hitters behind the plate. He probably is a great shower singer, Bill Dolman.
You used to serenade the hitters when they came to the plate,
didn't you? You betcha. Music to my ears, let me tell you.
2-1 pitch is fouled back.
You had to be careful, though, because those guys always had a bat in their hands, Bill. That was the problem.
I don't suppose you were singing Moon River or anything like that.
Had something to do with moons, but I'm not sure what it was.
2-1. 2-1 the count. Pitch is low for ball 3. Rather low at the knees it was. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Christensen, or rather Marco, didn't like the call. And now he has to bear down on the 2-2 pitch.
Look out.
And it hit him. Second hit batsman for the Rams tonight. Bartles hit one earlier. Marco didn't make much of an effort to get out of the way of that pitch. And
I don't know.
And that's one Ron Johnette is coming out to talk to Jerry Bauer about.
See it here again. And, well, again, it looked like it was going to be a breaking pitch. The ball did not break as Ron Johnette talking with Bowers, a home plate umpire. And again, as Bill Clem, the old umpire in the professional league, says, it ain't nothing till I call it. Well, he called it. It's a hit by pitch, and Ron Johnette will now go back to the dugout. Marco down at first base, hit by the pitch, and DeStefano, who was hit in the first inning, as Bill said earlier, hit in the first inning, came around to score a run, is up to the plate.
Grounded to second baseman Doxson, bobbles it. The only play is to first, and they get Merrill, but there was 2 away in the inning. So no damage done. But the Rams get a runner aboard, can't get him across, but they still maintain their 5-0 lead. 2 more at-bats to go for Millard North, and they will have, when they come to bat in the bottom of the 6th, John Small, Casey Alvano, and Todd Doxson coming to the plate. A nice crowd at Rosenblatt Stadium. Adrian and I came up the other night, and it was a little thin. But
there you see a better shot of the crowd, and it is indeed a much better crowd for this.
More than 4,000. It was just announced here at Rosenblatt, and that's super. And you and I had talked earlier in the week about having the state tournament here, and this might win the Rudy Martzke Hype Award. But I think playing this game here at Rosenblatt Stadium is very much akin to playing the state basketball championship at the Bob Devaney Center. This place is just one of the best ballparks in the country to play in and watch a ball game from, and it's just a great thrill to be here.
No question about it, Bill, as we see the enthusiasm of the crowd. I remember just some great baseball that we played here 3 years running. We were in the state championship 3 years in a row. Played for Omaha Ryan. Omaha Ryan not around anymore, but we won the state championship 2 of those 3 years, and we used to have some great rivalries. Omaha South and Omaha Ryan, a great rivalry. We come to this stadium and play. We'd fill this place, and it's just great to see the fans out here enjoying the evening. No greater way to spend a little, to find some entertainment here at Rosenblatt Stadium. Probably one of the best ballparks you'd ever want to play in. Not really a hitter's ballpark, but there's a lot of room out there as we look at the first pitch. First pitch in from Severson.
John Small is the hitter. His only plate appearance, he grounded to Scott Connolly at third base.
Well, Millard North, as you pointed out earlier on, Bill, 6 outs away here. And right now, the instruction, I'm sure, from head coach Ron Johnette in between innings, guys, and probably earlier on, probably in the inning previously, was, hey, we need base runners. We've got 5 zeros on the board. We need base runners. We're down 5 runs. We got to have people on the bags. And just as taking a look at John Small up there at the plate, he really is crowding in on the plate right now, challenging Severson, that is, to throw him strikes.
And Severson is winning the battle. 1-2 pitch. Bounces in front of the plate, and the count moves 2-2.
Small moved even further in on the plate that last pitch. Let's see if we can get a shot. Well, can we get a shot of that? He's really crowded up.
Ground ball to the shortstop, Christensen. Pounds the glove and over to first, and there's one away.
Christensen playing the Hoover at shortstop right there. Scooped it right up and then fires a strike over to first baseman Matt Mosser. So Aaron Christensen just continues to be a factor on this Ralston club as he has all year.
Ralston 5 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. The defense has been spectacular so far, particularly the infield defense. For Millard North, no runs, 2 hits, and 1 error. And Casey Alvano trying to make something happen with 1 down in the bottom of the 6th. Half swing won't do the job. Strike 1.
Millard North beat Papillion La Vista to gain the finals. They beat Papio La Vista 5-2 the other night. 5 runs on 6 hits and no errors. Played a great ball game. Great double play in the bottom of the 5th inning to ruin a threat by Papillion La Vista. Millard North 13-3 on the year, came into this tournament ranked 5th.
This one to Reichel at second. Gobbled up and over to Mosser at first, and there's 2 away.
Bill, that's pretty incredible. Reichel, I tell you, that's great to see. The kid's got a big smile on his face. He's having fun. He's having a good time out there, and you see the right fielder in the background, Brian Burns, but Phil Reichel having a good time playing second base here this evening. He can smell a trophy. He can smell one right now.
Next up, it'll be Todd Doxson, the second baseman. Doxson struck out back in the 3rd. Inside corner, strike 1.
Todd Doxson, a sophomore, 6 foot 155. Good average last year in summer ball. 400, hit 415.
Sidewind throw from Severson on the inside corner again, and now Doxson in the hole. 0-2 with 2 outs. Ralston 2 runs in the first, a run in the second, and they added 2 more in the 4th, and that's the way the score stands at 5-0. Pitch is high, 1-2.
Bill, in the tournament, I think we mentioned at the top of the show, Millard North hitting .365 in the tournament. They had wins over Bellevue West 10-0 and Papillion La Vista 5-2. They outscored their opponents 15-2 and committed no errors. And as we see tonight, they are on the other end of that proposition. They're shut out here through going into the bottom of the 6th. And 2 outs, 1 out away from completing that inning. But again, as the characteristics that they've been used to have been turned around on them here this evening, and it's made it very difficult for them to be successful.
The 1-2 pitch, grounded up the middle, making the play. Christensen, 6-3, scored, 3 down in the inning. 1-2-3 for the Ralston Rams, and this defense is really something. It is really telling a story, and maybe the key to what could be the 4th state title for Kurt Shockey and the Ralston Rams. 3 up and 3 down for Millard North in the 6th. Ralston leads it 5-0. Stay tuned. We'll have more after these messages. Bill Dolman and Adrian Fiala. Ralston 5, Millard North 0. We head into the top of the 7th inning. Ralston 3 outs away. Well, actually 6 outs away. They have to bat here in the top of the 7th, but 3 outs away from a state title.
Bill, I think we have a new pitcher on the mound, number 20, Paul Manzitto, I believe. Is it Manzito or Manzito?
Ooh.
I think that's... do we have a pitching change? That is correct. Paul Manzito is the new pitcher. Big right-hander, 6'2", 215. He replaces Brian Bodner. And Bodner just did a great job for Millard North while he was in this fracas.
Leading off for Ralston in the top of the 7th. It is Brian Byrne, the right fielder. He scored a run back in the first, struck out his last time up. He does have a single in the ball game. These Ralston hitters are getting up 3 and 4 times. This one inside and may have hit the bat.
That's what the umpire is signaling. When you see that sign where he kind of splits his hands like that, that's what that means. It's a foul tip.
It's a scary strike is what it is if you're Brian Byrne.
See it right here, right again. Look out. Yep, off the bat. So we go from a bean ball to a bean bat, and it counts as a strike.
1-1. Into center field, drifting back is Doxson. Coming in from right field is Rob Miller, and he makes the play. Good job there by Rob Miller. An interesting note on Miller tonight. He's playing the ball game and has played this tournament. He has a broken bone under his left eye socket. He was hit with a throw in districts, and just to be out there playing, I think that'd be a little gunshot.
Well, you don't want to take one on the cheek, that's for sure. But he made a good play that way. Burns lofted one into right field, a towering fly ball. Look out. Another ball behind the head right there for Manzito. Paul Manzito replacing Bodner, who had relieved Todd Bartles. Bodner coming on in the 4th inning. And now Manzito here in the 7th inning.
This one to pop up to second base. Todd Doxson calls for it and has it, and there's 2 away quickly.
There you see.
The 2 runs in the first inning came on with 2 outs in Ralston's half of the first, but the Rams were off and running. Then they got another run in the second and 2 in the 4th. Ralston is the visiting team. The Royals are the Millard North Mustangs. We are in the top of the 7th. Matt Mosser, the first baseman, has had a good night at the plate so far, 2 for 3, with a pair of singles struck out his last time at the plate.
Bill, just very quickly, Manzito on the year has won 2, lost 1, has a couple of saves, has a 1.8 ERA, pitched 11 2/3 innings, given up 9 hits, struck out 13 and walked 9.
1 ball and 1 strike to count to Matt Mosser. Count goes to 2-1. Well, we have a chance. We ought to thank some people here involved in this tournament, namely Jerry Bartee. There's a ball fouled back. Jerry Bartee of Omaha South, Mike Rice of Benson, and Charlie Rush of Omaha Northwest, the tournament directors, and they were instrumental in helping us gather some information and certainly helping us out and just to sit down and visit for a while as we watched some pretty good baseball. And
Condi Sargent also numbered among that group. I just want to say thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate Jerry Bartee. Played a lot of baseball against that young man.
There's a ground ball. Trying to make the play over was Marty Merrill, and Todd Doxson gave up on the play, and the ball rolls into right field for a base hit. That was just a situation where the communication was lacking between 2 infielders. It looked like Doxson wanted to go over and make the play in the hole. Merrill left the bag, and it looked like Doxson was waiting for Merrill to take the play and make the throw over to Paul Manzito.
Seeing eye single, as we would say. Under one arm, under the next arm, as we see a pinch runner now that steps in. Try to get a number for that young man.
10 hits now in the ball game for the Ralston Rams. Again, they lead this one 5-0. Top of the 7th inning. And that's all the farther we go in high school baseball is 7. The pitch from Manzito is high for ball 1. Ralston has not had a runner reach base much in the last couple of innings. Brian Bodner came in and did a pretty good job of shutting down Ralston. They had done their damage with Todd Bartles on the mound through 3.5 innings. And the runner goes. The throw from Hallett is on the wrong side of the bag. Another stolen base for Ralston.
Bill, that was Craig Roberts, number 4, as we see him now get up and dust it off. But good jump that time by Craig Roberts, sophomore, 5'10", 170. See it right here again. Nice pitch and a nice pitch to make a throw on, I should say, but the ball to the third base side of the bag, and Roberts in there very easily with a stolen base.
If the throw is on the first base side, I think they might have a play in terms of getting Roberts second. So now another runner in scoring position for Ralston. At the plate is the third baseman, Scott Conley. 2-0 the count to him. 2 away in the inning. The pitch home is high, rather at the letters, for strike 1. 2-1 now the count. Conley has done a great job defensively for this Ralston team, making several plays from his third base position, and at the plate tonight has gotten on a fielder's choice, struck out, and flew out deep to center field as the count goes to 3-1.
Bill, can hit it with power, as we talked about earlier, tied for the lead in home runs with 2. Also has 12 RBIs, and I think you mentioned the .359 average.
He is one of those seniors that Kurt Shockey told us has been starting since he was a sophomore, waiting for a moment when they could win the state title. This one is going to be caught in right field, and it is by Rob Miller. Ralston goes down without scoring. They do get a runner aboard, but they cannot score him. But they do lead this one 5-0. Millard North with 3 more outs.
And you hear it. You hear the enthusiasm and all the excitement that's part of this effort here this evening.
We should also mention we had a chance to visit with Bill Olson, the head coach at Omaha Northwest the other night, and that was certainly a lot of fun, telling us a lot of information about these two teams. I don't know if there's a better baseball man than just sitting down and talking to him.
30 years.
Not only in Omaha, but maybe in the state. I tell you, we have some great coaches, some great baseball men at the high school level in the state of Nebraska.
30 years of baseball from that young man, Bill Olson, I will say, the father of the now famous Greg Olson, the Rookie of the Year relief pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles, and doing such a great job in the big leagues, and we offer our congratulations. And I know that Bill is terribly, terribly proud of that young man, but you bet. Bill Dolman, Bill Olson, we just, for an hour the other night, we sat up there and talked baseball, talked theory, talked strategy, talked about these two teams that we're going to play here tonight, and he was very, very complimentary of both Ron Jeanette and Kurt Shockey with respect to the way they conduct their ball clubs and the way they play this game. So pretty good camaraderie amongst the coaches up here in Omaha.
The Ralston faithful is getting into this one. Their team is 3 outs away from the state title. It's Ralston 5, Millard North nothing. Bottom of the 7th.
Ryan Peters is going to start it out, Bill.
It's the top of the order for Millard North. They have gone down in order in every inning to date. The biggest threat for the Mustangs was in the second, and again, I say threat. They did get a runner aboard, but that was erased by a double play. First pitch is over for a strike, and every pitch gets this Ram team closer and closer to a state title.
Well, there's the guy that's responsible for everything right now as far as the fortunes of the Ralston Ball Club right now, and that's Brian Sabertson. He has done just one incredible job.
A ball hit well to left field, and getting to it is Matt Fry. Nice play by the left fielder. When you're hot, and everything is going right and falling right for the Ralston Rams.
That is the 3rd baseball tonight that Ryan Peters has simply tommyhawked. He hit a shot to right field in the 1st inning. He hit a shot that the shortstop caught in the 4th inning, and now he hits a shot into left field, and there you see it right there, and that is an absolutely great play by Matt Fry to keep things in order here in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's payoff time. Millard North at bat.
Boy, that cliche of defense wins championships is true in every sport, isn't it?
Yep, in the game of inches. You can talk about cliches all you want, but I want to tell you, a lot of those are absolutely true.
1-0 the count to Brian Berger, the left fielder. Now 1-1. There's one down. Bottom of the 7th inning.
Bill, we just had the official attendance marked at 4,097, and tip our hats to all the fans out here tonight.
Hit back to Siebertson. Will toss over to Mosser. And the Ralston Rams are 1 out away from winning their 4th state title.
There you see Mosser giving the sign, 2 outs. You hear it in the stands, and somewhere in the background I can hear somebody starting to warm up as far as the song goes. Ralston Rams 1 out away from a state championship. They won this title in 86, 87, and 88. And it appears that they're on the verge of putting one in the pocket again.
Stepping to the plate is Tim Allett. First pitch is a strike, 0-1, 2 down. I want to remind you that the executive producer of NETV Sports is Steve Alvis. Tonight's game has been produced and directed by Jim Carmichael. Our unit director is Martha Florence. And the remote engineer in charge is Dan Wright. And we want to thank those people for a fine job. Well done.
That may do it.
Ball in foul territory. Mosser giving chase, and this time the game of inches backfired on Ralston, but when you're up 5-0 with 2 outs, and Kurt Shockey a little edgy.
I'll tell you what, he looks like he's already had his premature Gatorade bath. But
that's his assistant coach, Pat Gibbons, who he has said has done a great job in working with this team this year and relating well to the kids.
Pat Gibbons played for Kurt Shockey back in 1982. It's really nice, Bill, to see that sort of relationship come on through the years. 9 years ago, a player, Pat Gibbons, went on to UNO, had a great career at UNO, and now he's back coaching and doing an excellent job, as Kurt Shockey mentioned. There are the two of them right there, and they can taste it right now, I guarantee you.
0-2, fouled down the third base line, and Hallett stays alive. Hallett singled in the first inning, then flied out to the left fielder, Matt Fry, back in the 4th inning. 0-2, 2 down. Ralston 5, Millard North nothing. State titles in 86, 87, and 88. They have not been to the state tournament since their last title. And again, it's fouled. This time into the crowd, no play.
Brian Severson on the afternoon, or evening, I should say now, as we move in at about 9 o'clock. He's given up 2 hits here this evening and has a shutout here in the bottom of the 7th. He's 1 pitch away, 0-2 on the hitter. Away from a 2-hitter in the state championship final, and that kid, I tell you, he's going to remember that, Bill, as we talked at the Open. You remember these kind of things for the rest of your life.
It had to be a big confidence boost for him, knowing that his coach, Kurt Shockey, had the confidence to go with him. Over to Conley at third, bobbles it. And he may have been caught up in the excitement. A runner is aboard at first base.
I'll tell you what, great show of sportsmanship out there by Brian Severson after the third baseman Conley, who has made such great plays down at third base here this evening. Couldn't find the handle that time, but Brian Severson goes over to Conley and says, hey, good play, stay in there, I'm with you. We'll get this next out and we'll have a championship. But this is the first time here this evening that Severson has not retired all 3 men in each inning.
Hesse is the courtesy runner at first. This pitch goes 55 feet, bounces in front of the plate, and Hesse now moves into scoring position, and he is the first Mustang runner to reach second base tonight.
Be a wild pitch, I would say. Scored a wild pitch. All right.
1-0 the count. The batter is Brad Urban. Singled in the second to lead off, was picked off on a double play. Then he grounded to Conley at third. That was in the 5th inning.
Mustangs perched on the dugout step.
Very few people in this entire stadium who are seated. There's 4,000, better than 4,000 here. The Ralston fans are up. The Millard North fans are up. The 2 teams are at their top step of their dugouts, awaiting the 1-0 pitch from Severson to Brad Irvin. Ralston 5, Millard North nothing. 2-0.
And right now it's just up to Brian Severson just to throw strikes, do what he's done all night. I know he can feel that state championship pressing down on him right now, but he needs just to keep throwing strikes.
3-0. Well, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, they have.
But this would be really strange.
Really, really strange.
No one holding on the runner at second. Urban gives up a free strike to Severson. Shockey has had to wait. He's seen a man get on an error and a wild pitch. The only two mistakes that Ralston has made tonight. The 2-1. The 3-1, rather, and he walked it.
Now's the time for the catcher. That's what I like to see right there. Keith Marco out there to talk with his pitcher, Brian Severson. It's simply a matter now of just being able to calm the adrenaline.
He's facing the heart of the Millard North order ordinarily, although the entire order has been quiet tonight at the plate. He led off with Peters, the top of the order. Berger obviously hitting second. Urban, the cleanup hitter, just walked, and now Marty Merrill, the first baseman, steps in. And Marco's words were heard. Severson comes back with a strike.
Well, Bill, as we talked about earlier on, you just need to get base runners in this kind of situation. Millard North has done that. They now have runners at first and second. The hitter just made Severson throw a strike.
And he is now
strike
thrown 2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Ralston 5, Millard North nothing.
Nothing like a good old baseball game.
Grounded to Christensen, he bobbled it, and the bases are loaded. Unbelievable.
Aaron Christensen perhaps thinking about what he's going to do prior to the throw. First, obviously, you have to catch it and then make the throw, but he was looking perhaps a little bit quicker to make the throw at second base. We're going to see it again right here as Merrill hits the ball to Aaron. He's maybe thinking about that throw. It appeared to me, just from the front view that we had, that was indeed the case, as Kurt Shockey now makes his way out to the mound. He wants to calm his ball club down as Ralston commits its second error, jams up the bases. And Kurt Shockey just having a little discussion here, saying, okay, there you see him talking to the catcher, Keith Marco. He said, hey, Brian still has it. And Marco said, yep, he sure does.
Well, you know,
and Shockey said, we're ready to go.
That was a walk he didn't want to make. I mean, his team has played so well. Severson has pitched a tremendous ball game up until this point. And really, this inning is not his fault. 2 errors have loaded the bases. But I think he kind of wanted the kids to be able to do this game and just play their game and not have to worry too much about what's going on. Unfortunately, now, the bottom of the 7th inning and 2 down, the bases are loaded. At the plate, the right fielder, Rob Miller.
Well, you know what happens, that was a breaking pitch that Merrill hit. He had him ahead in the count, 0-2. He threw a breaking ball to him, and Merrill, to his credit, hit the ball, Bill. Sometimes, you know, that yacker comes at you, that curveball, and it does funny things to a hitter. Here's the next pitch.
The 0-1, inside. 1-1 now.
Rob Miller on the afternoon or evening flew out hard to right field and grounded out to third base in the 5th inning, so he's 0 for 2.
Came into this game hitting .327, 1 homer and 9 RBI. This time to Christensen at short. He's got it. Over to second for the out. And Ralston is the 1991 state baseball champion.
Oh, what a feeling. Look out. What an end to the season. Keith Marco trying to get rid of the tools right there so he can celebrate a little easier. And there's Ron Johnette and his ejected crew. But they've had a great year also.
1986, 1987, 1988, and now 1991. The Ralston Rams are the state champions of Nebraska high school baseball. And this is a team that has been together since its sophomore year. And here's the final out of the game.
Aaron Christensen makes no doubt about this one, has no doubt, and he flips it over to the second baseman, Phil Reichel, and that forces the play and ends the game and puts that state championship trophy right into that hip pocket right there for Kurt Shockey and his ball club. As you see, Pat Gibbons, his assistant, they're both extremely happy.
Well, while the Ralston Rams take their victory lap, out in center field. We'll throw it to break, and we'll be back again. Ralston 5, Millard North nothing. It's a final. We'll be back after this. Bill Dolman and Adrian Fiala back at Rosenblatt Stadium. The 1991 high school baseball championship has been decided, and the Ralston Rams, for the 4th time in school history, take home the team trophy. Ralston with 5 runs, 2 in the first inning, 1 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. Pitch a shutout against the Millard North Mustangs that came into this game a very hot baseball team.
That's right, Bill. Millard North hitting well, playing good defense. They had their problems at the plate tonight, only got a couple of hits, committed an error, and overall had their problem. They hit the ball, but they hit it right at people. Ralston did a great job playing defense, kept it right in the ballpark, and won the championship. The trail to the championship by Ralston. They beat Lincoln Southeast in the first game 3-1. Then they came back and beat Omaha Northwest in the semifinal game 7-3. And then obviously tonight here against Millard North 5-0. 15 runs they scored in this tournament, only gave up 4. So they really did a fine job, and Kurt Shockey and his crew to be commended for that effort. Ronnie Jeanette and his crew, a great season. Nonetheless, they're here. Aren't too many teams that make it this far, and good job for Ron Jeanette and his guys.
For Ralston, 5 runs, 10 hits, and 2 errors. Millard North, no runs, 2 hits, and 1 error. And the architect of those 4 state championship teams is Ralston head coach Kurt Shockey. And Kurt joins us now down by his dugout. And Kurt, congratulations, a great team performance tonight.
Thanks, Adrian. Appreciate it.
That was Bill, Kurt.
This is Bill Dolman along with Adrian Fiala.
Oh, okay.
Kurt, now you're talking to Aid. Well, again, congratulations. I tell you, first question I got to ask you, you were ahead by 3 runs in the first 2 innings. Were you worried?
Were we worried? Yeah, it's been our nature to come back a lot this year, but this time we got the jump on somebody. We lost the flip a couple days ago, and I just told the kids when we came back, I said, well, we're going to be visitors now, which simply means we're going to get a chance to score first. So we wanted to put some pressure on if we could, and it's a game of momentum. And we grabbed the momentum right away, I thought, and we held on to it. I don't think we let it go too much. In the middle innings, they had a 3-up, 3-down inning one time, which kind of changed momentum somewhat. But Brian Severson threw a great ball game for us, and he competed. He threw strikes. We saw how well Millard North hit the ball against Papillion. And really the idea was if Brian throws strikes, our defense should be able to run most everything down. We got an awful lot of tough chances. Scott Conley at third, great play. Double play up the middle with Aaron to Phil to Matt. Phil Reichel makes a nice play. Matt Fry makes a great play in left field. Brian Burns ran everything down in right center, and Joe did the same also in center. So the idea was, if Brian throws strikes, I thought we'd be in the ball game all the way.
Kurt, you said that attitude was very important. I think that was evident here tonight. Did you worry a little bit? Millard North hit the ball very well, but they hit it right to you.
Absolutely. Millard North's a great ball club. Ron Jeanette does a great job with them. As far as being worried is concerned, we felt that they'd have to we try to stay away from the big inning. We try to stay away from anything that would be extra base hits. If Brian threw strikes and changed speeds, that's basically Brian's ball game, changing speeds, and that's really what we tried to do with him most of the time. As far as being worried again, they did hit the ball hard, and Ron's a great coach, has those kids swinging the bats well. But we saw against when they played Papillion that if you kind of stay away from that big inning and throw strikes and don't let them get in their short game where they can bunt the ball and advance guys into scoring positions, I don't think they had anybody in scoring position to the very last inning. And so that was a key for us. And Severson did a great job for us.
Well, Kurt Shockey, our congratulations to you and to Pat Gibbons. A well-deserved championship. Number 4 for you. We're proud of you, and great to have you on, and good luck in the future.
Thank you. And I'll tell you what, you said a mouthful when you said Pat Gibbons. Pat Gibbons did a super job for us this year. He's as I told you before the game, he's kind of a troubleshooter for us. And anybody that needs work, Pat's got the rapport with the kids and goes on and does just that. And really, he was the one in the bullpen who caught Brian a couple days ago, and he said, you know what, I think Severson can do it for us. And that was it.
Okay, Kurt, thanks again.
Thank you.
We'll see you down the road.
Thanks a lot.
And certainly Kurt Shockey doesn't need to sell himself short. He is one of the top high school coaches in the state. 4 state titles is proof of that.
Well, Bill, he steps right up into the same framework now as Bill Olson, the coach at Northwest. 82, 83, 84, 85, Northwest, Omaha Northwest won that championship. Kurt Shockey now garners his 4th state title, and he steps right into that enclave. And so He is indeed one of the premier coaches in high school baseball, and it's good to see the sort of enthusiasm that his kids play with, and the confidence and the good attitude. So what a fun night. Great night for baseball, great night for Nebraska sports, a great night for Bill Dolman, Adrian Fiala, and Nebraska ETV.
Well, once again, our final score, Ralston 5, Millard North nothing. The Rams win their 4th state title tonight. For Adrian Fiala and the entire NETV sports production team, I'm Bill Dolman. Good night from Omaha.